Hey, everybody, friendly neighborhood Glenn here with a very, I'll add another very special episode here of No Vacancy News Today and No Vacancy Live. Why? Because somehow I pulled off a miracle. I got Louisiana's Lieutenant Governor, Billy Nungesser, here on the show. We're going to talk all about travel, tourism, and hospitality for the great state of Louisiana. Sir, thank you so much for being here with me. I'm sorry I'm so low energy today.
Well, listen, I love that passion. Nothing great is ever achieved without passion.
Yep.
You surely have it.
So let me tell you, sir, I love New Orleans. I know, and all of Louisiana. And I mentioned that just before we started recording here today, because I love your food. I love your culture. I love the music, and I love the people that are there. And I haven't been to New Orleans in longer than I should admit, but it's one of my favorite places to be. In fact, I think it's my favorite American city out of my hometown of New York. So I love what you're doing over there. How is tourism? How are you thinking about tourism?
Well, thank you. That is my job as Lieutenant Governor, promoting the great state of Louisiana. And I'm glad to hear that because I tell everyone it's the people that really makes tourism work. We treat strangers like family, and they leave Louisiana with a friend for life, and they keep coming back for more. We had 5 record-breaking years prior to COVID. In 2019, over 53 million people visited little Louisiana and left behind 1.9 billion in taxes. That's over $1,100 per Louisiana family.
Wow, that's amazing. And that's just tax money. And think about all of the actual spend and how many jobs that creates and how many jobs that are created wind up creating more jobs.
Absolutely. It's the 4th biggest industry in Louisiana. And when I took office, we started promoting Mardi Gras all over Louisiana, family friendly, safe, affordable Mardi Gras in every corner of the state. And over the last several years, we've seen over 80 new hotels built all around Louisiana, not just the major cities. People are wanting getting off the beaten path and visit rural Louisiana, our Main Street districts. So it's really had an effect on every corner of the state in a positive way.
So that's interesting that you're talking about the hotel business itself. I think what we're seeing here is in the COVID period, people start to realize, oh, we could go to other places that we haven't been before. And then they start to realize that they love those places. Is it just tourism that's a driver for these other areas, or are you bringing other types of industry there as well?
Well, one of the things we started doing COVID was staycation for Louisianans. Go see a part of Louisiana if you've never been to. And their word of mouth has spread to people outside the state, which has just helped all of those areas. And then we also really started promoting sports tourism. We've got the Super Bowl in New Orleans next year. We have the Final Fours, but we're having Olympic trials all over Louisiana, Shreveport, Lafayette, Lake Charles. So we're bringing smaller sport events that really helps the hotel industry in those areas and all the small businesses in those smaller communities offer these sport events that normally you wouldn't host in those cities.
Yeah, and that's right, because you don't have, like, here in New York, we got professional sports teams all over the place, right? So you've hosted the Super Bowl numerous times. I feel like it's like a rite of passage for New Orleans.
Well, New Orleans is a perfect place. It's the only city where when the Super Bowl was in walking distance of the French Quarter, the riverfront, all the hotels. Where in a lot of major cities, you've got to take a long ride from the stadium to where you're having a party. New Orleans is one big party. So that downtown area from the riverfront to the French Quarter to the Marigny, it just all wraps in one, and it's all walkable. Or they take those pedicabs. You don't have to get in a lot of traffic on the freeway to get around for a Super Bowl in Louisiana.
Let me tell you, I've not been there for a Super Bowl, but I have been there for conventions. Close enough, area. What I really like about it is you could go to the convention center, then you could walk over to the casino that's over there, and just another few feet away, you've got the whole French Quarter, and that's really the ultimate New Orleans experience for me. But one thing that I'm interested in is everybody these days wants to do these music festivals, food festivals, and all of that. But Jazz Fest was like there before people understood what the word festival means. How are you able to continue to leverage that in order to bring new people to your market and create excitement around Louisiana, New Orleans?
Yeah, the first year out of COVID, we were concerned would people come back. We became a major sponsor because a lot of people were worried that it wouldn't come back, and we set a record. So Jazz Fest has been a leader in getting people excited about Louisiana. Something we did out of COVID, a little different for a state. We put a float in your parade, the Macy's parade. We'll be back with that Super Gator this year for the third year,
Yeah.
and the Rose Parade. It got people excited about coming to Mardi Gras. And right after Mardi Gras is fair and festival season, we have over 400 fairs and festivals. If you can eat it, dance to it, shoot it, hell, we name a festival after it.
I absolutely love that, Lieutenant Governor. That's absolutely hysterical. So, how are you, how else are you communicating to people? I mean, events are one thing, but you've got to get out those marketing messages. You've got to differentiate yourself. And I've seen more and more and more advertising out there from more jurisdictions than ever before, but a lot of it's all kind of the same thing, almost fungible. You can put a different visit so and so place on it, and it won't matter. How do you make sure your advertising sticks and resonates with folks that they want to come and visit?
We do it a little differently. We go there. Just like we're coming to New York, you'll see that alligator eye in Times Square. It'll be looking around. People look up, it'll zoom up, say, get ready, New York. Louisiana's coming. But we go there and we throw a party. We just got back from London where we took over the train station. We had Tabasco ice cream, something you got to come to Avery Island to get. But we stole the show, and the media attention we get when we bring Louisianans there, we bring some cooking, a little jazz. We get people excited about coming to Louisiana, and that has really worked well. It's a lot of work, but we travel all over the world doing that to show uniquely Louisiana to the world.
Yeah, why are you the most fun politician I've ever spoken to? You've really got a great attitude about this.
Well, I was retired and rode out Katrina on a ranch south of New Orleans at Little Finger Sticks in the Gulf. Me and my wife had a riding center for special needs children. We rode out there to protect the animals. I rescued people by airboat, and I never saw a politician. So I got angry and ran for parish president. And then after the BP oil spill, I caught them doing things they shouldn't have been doing. And I was on CNN every night pretty upset. So I said, if nobody's going to do nothing, I'm going to run for lieutenant governor. So I think it's a passion for making a difference that more of our elected officials need to have.
Yeah, and before we started recording this interview, you were telling me, and I picked up your passion for the environment because it means jobs, livelihoods, and gives people reasons to come to New Orleans. And of all the places in our country, you've suffered from adverse weather and all sorts of stuff. So it's a huge challenge for you to make sure that you create a place that's safe for everyone and still people want to visit, right?
Right. I've even made the offer to the city of New Orleans to take over the French Quarter and make it a state park, historical district, much like they did in San Diego with the gas lamp district, where they managed it separately from the city. There's not enough people, voters living in the French Quarter to get the attention it deserves as really the hot spot for tourism. So we need to try to remanage it and fix it and clean it up, and make it safer. The French Quarter that we all used to love needs to come back to Louisiana. And it's something it's worth saving. So we're going to continue to fight to clean it up and make it safer for our visitors.
That's awesome. Could you give me a little bit on the convention business? What makes you the right place for conventions? Because there's a lot of competition out there now, and more places than ever, just like tourism ads, they're building these convention centers and expecting that type of business. So how are you attracting that business?
Well, I think you mentioned it, the closeness to the French Quarter. It's not a convention center you've got to go to, take a bus, wait 30 minutes. So the convenience is really great. And then the establishments, the Emerald's restaurants, the Chef Fulse, the great food all over Louisiana, and the great fresh seafood right out the Gulf. You catch it in the morning, they cook it up that evening, and then you've got the jazz, the music clubs, and the mighty Mississippi River. There's no better way to entertain your clients than a cruise on the Mississippi River at night. So all that, we call it a gumbo. We throw everything in a pot and mix it up. But you leave here with a friend for life, and that's the best.
You certainly do. Plus there's some of the best food there is. I love myself jambalaya, gumbo, etouffee. Oh, your sandwiches are amazing.
And at fairs and festivals, any given weekend, there's a million things going on. Every year they keep adding a new festival. We now have a fried chicken festival. We have a king cake festival where they stuff crawfish in a king cake. So every year somebody comes up with something new and crazy, and we make a party around it. So those unique things to do all over Louisiana make it really, when you're here for a convention, and you can go fishing within an hour of New Orleans, And I tell people you can fish anywhere, but you catch fish in Louisiana.
Yeah, you sure do. And another cool thing that I think is great for conventions is I was there for when La Quinta was a standalone hotel company before they were bought by Wyndham. They did an event at the convention center, and then they did a party at the factory that does all the Mardi Gras floats.
Oh, yeah, the Mardi Gras world is incredible, and, we now have a tourism float. You'll have to come down and ride. Until you've ridden in a parade, you've gotta experience it, and we get journalists to come ride on our float and see Mardi Gras from the float and these people begging for throws. So I'm offering you an opportunity to come down for Mardi Gras and ride on a float.
I would love that. My goodness, Lieutenant Governor, that would be a highlight.
We'll video you, and you can take the video home and share it with the world.
I love that, and that fried chicken festival is something I'm into as well. Now, before we wrap up, sir, could you explain to our friends, us Yankees up here north, the difference between Cajun and Creole? Which one is the city? Which one's the country? I always get confused.
Well, I tell you, the Cajun is the Lafayette, those Canadians that came, and the Creole is the Creole cooking in the heart of New Orleans. And so there's a lot of similarities, but there's a lot of difference. We have over 100 different kinds of gumbo, and jambalaya can be red, it can be brown, it can be a mixture in between. And that's the great thing about Louisiana. Anywhere you go, the bread pudding, the gumbo, it's all a little different. And we just went and taught the Australians how to make gumbo with their seafood. And we told all the people that, look, that's pretty good, but to get the real stuff, you got to come to Louisiana.
Hey, listen, I love that you went to Australia and you're like, hey guys, you've got to come here. I don't see any other politicians doing that for any other countries. That's for sure.
Well, it's a love and passion I have for Louisiana, its people, and I love to go out and share that with the world. And it's really satisfying when they visit and they write, "Wow, you were right." Mother's Poor Boy, the muffalata, all the things you sold us on was the best it could be. So it makes you really proud to be from Louisiana.
Oh, we better wrap this up before I start going on about your oysters. My goodness.
Well, listen, I'm going to see you. I'm coming up for the Macy's parade to watch that
Awesome.
Super Gator crawl down the streets.
Fantastic. And I'll make sure I get to the city to see you. Lieutenant Governor Nungesser, thank you so much for being here. I'm Glenn Hausman. We'll see you next time on another episode of No Vacancy Live. See you later.